You're watching my favorite You're watching my favorite YouTube channel. I'm chill. Big Forward Entertainment, aka Anzo. He's
What
in the
up?
building too. He's got a YouTube channel. You guys have heard of Anzo. You've seen Big Ford Entertainment. He's been a constant guest on my channel. But who's this guy over here on the side? I don't think I've ever seen him in my life. Kaizaku Slevin. Slevin, who are you?
Hey, what's going on? It's Kaiser Slevin. Um, I do. I have a YouTube channel, of course. I've talked to Chillmonger before. We kind of cool when in the background. But yeah, I have a channel. I do video essays. I like to go into different type of topics that I like, mainly like dark kind of like stories. And then sometimes I do some Star Wars stuff. So that's why I'm here.
Absolutely.
Basically, yeah. And the main topic here is Ahsoka Tano. She's our girl. Man, some people say that they knew she was black when she started. Do you agree with this? Because I don't.
No, I don't agree with it either.
Okay.
No.
I don't agree with that either.
She was a Togrudo. She was a vibrant orange color, right? Like,
Right.
Mhm.
yeah.
It's like
So
Starfire, it's this person's not human, so let's not do that.
I,
Right.
I was watching K Dot and he was talking about Starfire, and people are talking about how like they effed up the Starfire face paint, and Ahsoka proves otherwise. You actually can do a proper Ahsoka, and I agree with that. Do you like Ahsoka and Rosario Dawson portraying Slevin? What do you think about Rosario so far that we've seen her in a Mandalorian episode, a Book of Boba Fett, and then 5 here?
All right, so like you stated, right? There's different stages of it. In the Mandalorian, I think she did very well, and I think she is a good casting. She looks very well as an adult Ahsoka. In the show, unfortunately, I don't think I'm getting the Ahsoka that I'm expecting, because a lot of the time she's not acting like the person who's supposed to be wielding the Force. She's not a Jedi. She's not Sith. She's just somebody who's just coasting through the Force, and she's just doing what's right. So maybe it's because of the writing of how Disney's portraying it, and Filoni is following rules by Kathleen Kennedy or whatnot. But for what I'm getting right now, I'm not really getting the Ahsoka that I'm used to, and maybe that's for the better. Maybe it is, but we'll see.
That's what the white change is for. That's what this episode showed us. There was a noticeable difference from the start towards the ending of the way that Rosario's Ahsoka, and not the younger one, but the Rosario Ahsoka was acting very differently.
Right, right.
Hmm.
I agree.
The transformation, the Ahsoka, the white, which is supposed to be based off of Gandalf. I don't. Hey, Dre Mac, what's going on? Oh, no one's got the
So,
camera on today. Maybe he's getting adjusted. The transformation. I didn't watch Lord of the Rings, so I don't know about Gandalf the White. I don't know much about it, but from the changing of the colors, that's supposed to be this hugely symbolic deal, which changes her character. I'm gonna believe all my theorists and my Star Wars content creators who I watch and take their word for it. This means that she's gonna be different. She's gonna be upbeat more so. She was though. She showed a little bit more teeth in the post World Between Worlds moments. And so what you guys are complaining about, hey, this is my Ahsoka. Yeah, she was fine in the beginning when she was talking to Grogu, figured out his name. We got past that. But this new Ahsoka is not it for us. Nah, this Ahsoka is it. And once she links up with Ezra in that new episode coming up tomorrow, no complaints will be made.
I agree.
Thank you,
And I,
Anzo.
and I hope we get to see that because when I first started doing the roundtable, like around episode 2, we're like, oh, I hope they don't drag out the Thrawn and Ezra stuff. And I think that's the only issue that I really have is that they're dragging it out a little bit too long. I would have liked to have seen them in like episode 3 or 4, but I have a feeling that when they do show up, it's gonna be epic. So I'm excited for that.
Anybody want to take this World Between Worlds? Explain this for me. It's based off everything from Rebels, and then everything we got here. I still don't know what it is.
Ugh, I hate the world between worlds, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm getting the timey wimey type of feel with World Between Worlds. It's a nice concept to make sure that Ahsoka stays in canon, but at the same time, it breaks a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, since it's Worlds, what's going on, Dre Mac?
What's up, Guy? Hear me? I'm kind
Yeah,
of driving too. Sorry.
okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. I was asking about the World Between Worlds. Do you know what it is, Dre?
Well, I know that Ezra pulled Ahsoka into the world between worlds. What was that? Season 4, when she was battling Vader.
Mhm.
From what I understand, it's supposed to be, where all time and basically with everything happens at once, even the past, present, and the future. So even in this show, I still didn't understand what she pulled into the world between worlds. Was that it's something that her subconscious went into? So she, basically got defeated and fell into the water. I don't know exactly where she was at that time, but I know season 4 of Rebels, because I actually watched that. That's where she was at. So, yeah.
Mhm.
It's a world and it's between worlds. Based off of its name, its definition. The worlds that it's between, they've gotta be. If you ask Chill, it's the world of the living, both galaxies, everything that exists, the living world. That's one of the worlds. And the second world is that afterlife place where force ghosts reside, and that the whole like cosmic force nonsense stuff. And this is right in between there. So because we know that the Anakin slash Vader has the ability to become a force ghost, as we saw in Return of the Jedi, he can appear there in this world that is between the two worlds. It's a place where they can commune. Qui-Gon Jinn can appear there also, and it's beyond time. That pleases me. How did she get into the world between worlds after falling off the cliff? Yo, maybe that owl that follows her, the little Morai, like opened up the portal. I don't know.
Where where is the owl anyway?
When's the last time we saw it? It was part of the episode in Mandalorian, wasn't it?
I think
Yeah, it
so.
was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In the back. Who cares where the owl is though? The owl is not supposed to make sense. It's not supposed to be a place that travels. Like it just appears here and there, right? Well, we're asking a question about the Force. It doesn't need answering.
Well, supposedly the owl is supposed to be the light side of the force, kind of like the daughter from the Clone Wars. I don't know if you guys saw
Mhm.
that episode where
Yeah.
they got in that that was the father, the daughter, and the son, which is both of them are supposed to represent the light and the dark, and then the father in the middle is supposed to be the balance between the force. So, and her avatar usually is the owl, so that's supposed to be her, and she's supposed to be like, I don't know, mentoring or pretty much shepherding Ahsoka in a way. That's how I got it. That's why at the end of Rebels, she was in all white, because now she has more understanding of how the light side of the Force is, or something like that.
And
But
then they retconned that, and then Dave Filoni said, "No, no, no, no. This is how she gets into the all white. Okay, here, this is it. Watch the show."
right,
Mhm.
I'm being joined by Marcus from the back of the bus. Hello there. Hey, Marcus. It's not him. It's AI.
Mhm.
he's probably adjusting his stuff too.
Yeah. Marcus talks more. Marcus uses 7-syllable words when he comes in here.
Not 7.
um, he's not. He's still not here. Let me just remove him then, and I'll bring him back in a second because I don't want him to like pick his nose or do something embarrassing. Back to us with the episode, with the world between worlds and the flashback. The performances from that little girl who plays the younger Ahsoka was killer. I was unaware it's the same girl from 65 and from the movies Infinity War. This girl has like an acting. She's got like a credible little filmography on
Mhm.
her. Like I'm impressed by what she was been able to do so far. And where will she pop next? She might be the new Bella Ramsey kind of character, who actress who kind of spawns out, or the new Drew Barrymore who was part of ET.
Maybe I think she's just sponsored by Disney, honestly.
Were
And
they
she
all?
can't play every light skinned female character in Disney either. We got to switch her up. She got to get her own role.
I
When
kind
I
of think
think
that's what happened with 65. She kind of like played the co-star.
there was only 4 people on the casting for 65.
Well, it makes sense.
I didn't think it was that small until that. I was like, yeah, I realized, hey, that is really just a few actors. That thing, Adam Driver was really going for that Oscar. Let me do something where it's only me and I can definitely show that I'm a lead actor. Nope, he didn't get that. Actually, he didn't get an Oscar nomination at all for that movie.
That kind of sucks because I think it was very underrated. I just watched it, I think like 2 weeks ago, and I was very surprised at how good it was. Like I was expecting it to be cheesy and whatnot, but it actually was a pretty good storyline.
Why did he do it? He's a Star Wars guy. He should probably do roles that have nothing to do with outer space, and Adam Driver took it.
I don't know. Maybe he's just an actor. That's what he wants to do.
That's the thing. Actors, I feel like they're more so. Let's not typecast each other. After the big franchises, I want to do something else. I don't want to be Wanda Sykes who plays the same character in every kind of film.
Exactly.
Or Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish, I should have started with, right?
Of
Maybe
course,
that's
because she's annoying.
very annoying.
Lonzo-
She's like she's the new version of what we're supposed to understand what the stereotype of a black woman is nowadays.
She is a stereotype, and it took me a while. The first movie I saw her, whatever. The second movie, okay. Now I'm watching her and Kevin Hart, and I'm going, yeah, Night School. You're playing the same obnoxious kind of like Queen Latifah in that movie. She's not for my cup of tea. Even before the thing with Aries Spears, even before that, which is jokes. If Marcus returns, he'll let you know how he feels about that. Which is jokes that are just I can't sit by and go, yeah. In the guise of comedy, I guess that is funny. I wouldn't have gone there. I would have had like reservations from doing that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, or do I got to get into the gory details?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
I honestly agree with you. I mean, even as a former comedian myself, there's no way in hell I joke about that. So, yeah, I mean, and then she threw him under the bus and said, "Well, I didn't know." Yeah, you did. You know what I mean? You're just trying to save your career while you're just, while you're throwing him under the bus. So I have no respect for Tiffany Haddish whatsoever.
If Tiffany Haddish came to Star Wars, now that actress would be the least Star Wars actress I've ever seen. Tiffany Haddish.
You sure?
Beyond,
You sure
beyond
it's not Lizzo?
No, we got Lizzo. I saw it. It happened. Tiffany Haddish, just that because her voice brings me out of Star Wars. The accent that she would use, and I don't think she's got the talent to consistently make another accent. I think she would take me right out of Star Wars the most.
Well, I'm not sure about the accent part because she does speak fluent Japanese.
Huh?
Yeah, look it up. There's a video of her speaking Japanese.
How did she learn?
She just learned it. I don't know where she learned it, but she was speaking fluent Japanese.
So is she secretly really smart and she just plays everybody?
You know what? That might be the case. I think she might just be playing a part. You know how they do when
sound
they
like it.
put an industry plant, like they need you to do this and I'll give you money type of deal.
Yeah.
So I'm sometimes I feel like she's putting up an act and she knows better. But then there are other times where I'm like, this chick is kind of like off the wall.
When Common, I was about to say, when Common leaves you, you know you messed up. Let's be real.
Like Erykah Badu.
Nah, Erica put something on him. He changed his clothes. That brother was from Chicago. Him and Andre 3000 started dressing like 70s hippies after they had Erykah Badu. So I think it was more Erica. Whatever's inside. Never shut up.
I mean, Common has always been very what's it called? Conscious or whatnot. Even though he had that little beef with Ice Cube back in the day, I feel like he was always in that genre. He was always like that.
He was conscious, but he wasn't dressing like he was getting ready to sell UC Moss and Sage on the corner. So
you right.
I love CMOS. Back to the show, Ahsoka, episode 5. So we get the World Between Worlds stuff. We get these epic. She did like a spinneroonie with a lightsaber, and we go, woo, this is a fighting that we remember. This is awesome. It really felt like she was an animated character the way that they did that specific move. And it was very nostalgic. We got to see Ryloth, which I remembered. We got to see the Siege of Mandalore, which I knew right away was the Siege of Mandalore. There was an actress who they casted. Her name was Savannah, and she was the same House of the Dragon actress. And I was expected to see her as the old grown-up Ahsoka. But she wasn't the grown-up Ahsoka. Does that mean we got another flashback where Ahsoka's a little bit older that's coming in the next few episodes? Will we return to the World Between Worlds for more answers? Is that where we're going to see Ezra one day, World Between Worlds with Ezra and the new actress? Just because that Savannah character, that actress, who, let me share my screen. And, well, I'm sharing my screen. Hold on.
Oh, hey, what channel is that?
Oh, that's the Kaizaku 11 YouTube channel, which we all should be checking out. especially the woke video right over here where he defines it and reminds you all what the word means. So Savannah Stein, that's her name. This woman here, she was supposed to play Ahsoka. She was cast. There was rumors that this woman was Ahsoka, and we don't see her at all. She's 27 years old right now, so you would imagine she's playing Ahsoka during the era of the Rebels. But Savannah Stein, who, yeah, from House of the Dragon, let me go more see more images. Here, she played this character in House of the Dragon, one of those, not the Targaryens, but the other ones, right? Your daughter was a whore. Remember that one?
That was awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it was awesome.
Yeah, she played Ashley Ahsoka. She's supposed to be Ahsoka.
So you said she's supposed to be playing Ahsoka during the Rebels timeline?
I think so, because the girl's 27. That's what you're going to be playing, that timeline.
I mean, this is not too far away from what's happening right now. That's probably like 5 or 6 years before, right? Because Mandalorians takes place 5 years after the Empire falls, and then he meets Ahsoka.
Yes, but the Empire doesn't fall in one movie. The Empire falls from New Hope to Empire to Jedi. That's like there's like a 6-year period, or maybe 5-year.
Huh. No, I understand. I'm just saying in general, like she's not gonna look that different if it's like less than 10 years ago. You get what I'm saying?
Right, because Ahsoka is 45 in this show, right? They say that she's about 45 in this show. So if this girl's gonna play Ahsoka, they're going really early then.
And Ahsoka's species can live older than 100, right? Remember that. The aging will be kind of slower. So when we see Rosario still playing Ahsoka during like the timeline of Rey and Finn, just remember that the Togruta species do make it to 200, some of them.
As long as they don't make her look like Jada Pinkett in the new Matrix or last Matrix movie, I'm cool.
We got Marcus back at the bus. You missed all of the Tiffany Haddish talk.
Good. I think that was a good idea to not have me around there. I apologize. I had some technical issues. I couldn't hear anything coming out of the computer for some reason.
Yeah, it looked like it. Where the F is my subscriber icon? I don't know. Did you unsubscribe from me? I'm not sure, Rogue. I don't see it. I like the rumor that if I hit the bell, I'll get notified that you're streaming. Whatever, man. We got Adnan Kabir. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Yeah, subscribers only right now. The episode was a great episode. It's very loved from people like me. It hit the nostalgia. It hit everything I wanted from the world of the Between Worlds. And it wasn't that loose. It's got nothing to do with anything. And we're just going to make you look at these pictures and now enjoy it. It did serve a purpose. Ahsoka went through character arc, which she always does go through, especially with Dave Filoni. So she comes out of it as a developed person while seeing cool images of Darth Vader for like a flash when the lightning strikes and then it goes back to the regular Anakin, right? Like it did cool things and it progressed the story. And if you look at that episode back, that was the first, it was under 20 minutes and we were out of there. We accomplished what we needed from World Between Worlds. What a great usage. I mean, as critical as we are and as mysterious as it is, they did the World Between Worlds right. And we don't know what it is. Completely, we don't know what it is. But it has ruled out things that it's not since this appearance. So we're getting the answers to World Between Worlds. And sometimes, the mystery look is better. A lot of people don't really like midichlorians. They like to think of the Force as this abstract thing where their imagination controls what the Force is. And they don't have an opinion. They have an opinion rather than being told what the Force is. So they hated midichlorians. Likewise, World Between Worlds. Maybe some people are like, oh, this mysterious thing. I hope they never say what it is. I hope we don't know what Yoda's species is called or what planet he's from. I hope. And so maybe World Between Worlds is... I'm defending Dave Filoni. I know I sound like a shill right now, but maybe the World Between Worlds mystery is for the best.
So... to piggyback off what you're saying, I think the midichlorian things is kind of hypocritical, right? Because a lot of people complain about Star Wars not being scientifically accurate or whatnot, but then you bring midichlorians to help with that, and then everybody's like, oh no, we need to keep it mysterious. So it's like, why can't we use something to quantify it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll help with
because
more...
if you quantify it, Slevin, then we don't get to rant and rave about it. We don't get to run it up talking about how much we hate it. See, it has to be there long enough for us to cultivate an audience around it. But you can't take it away because then we can't talk to them about stuff anymore. You know, it's got to be there just long enough for you to hate to get the hate machine going. You know.
Yeah, I guess so. And then I wanted to add about the World Between Worlds when how she got there and whatnot. My theory is that the planet that they're on is very astute with the Force, kind of like how you saw those whales, those hyperspace whales.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's why they're there, because that world is just astute in the Force. So when she fell into the water, in general, since the World Between Worlds is between life and death, Ahsoka was probably about to die.
Is that why? Okay, remind me. I'm probably the least knowledgeable in terms of like Star Wars lore. So help me out a second. The green lady,
Hera
she's the
Syndulla.
general.
Hera.
Okay, cool. Is that why when her son, who I believe is Force sensitive, began to hear Ahsoka fighting, that she could kind of focus and hear it too? Because I don't believe that she is Force sensitive. Is it because the planet was that strong? Okay, cool.
Yes, that's what I believe. And since he's Force sensitive because of Kanan, his dad,
right?
He's more astute into like tapping in. And I think the like I said before, she got into the World Between Worlds because like water, the element of water is kind of like the bridge between life and death sometimes. So when she fell in there and she got beat, she was about to die. But then the World Between Worlds, since she's Force sensitive, she tapped into that. And then when she met Anakin and whatnot, it kind of brought her back to life.
Gotcha.
I never got triggered by midi-chlorians. Me too, same thing. But I understand. But doesn't this show help out though? Yeah, she does. Sabine Wren doesn't have a high aptitude to the Force. They never said midi-chlorians, but we know what they mean. Yet she can still. We're rooting for her, and one day she will move that cup. She can still have access to the Force, the powers. Everyone does.
Do you think that's where they're headed with Sabine, or do you think that they maybe go a route that says that you could be a Jedi without the Force? And would you hate that if they did?
Oh, I would absolutely hate that if they did. What I think,
I wouldn't love it. I wouldn't love it.
What I think they're going to do, if that's the case, if they're not going to give her Force powers, I think they're going to make her like, you don't have the Force, but you're a Mandalorian, right?
I feel like that's the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
She has the Mandalorian thing. You've been doing Mandalorian stuff for 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a perfect marriage between Jedi and Mandalorian. I don't think you need to go the route of like, oh, she's not Force sensitive, but she's still a Jedi instead. I don't want the participation Jedi.
Anzo, it would sort of be like having this child, and then he's also T'Challa. It'd be like that.
Here we go. Here we go.
Just pick one. They gotta pick one.
I would reject that.
Powers or not.
If I'm looking at, you can be a Jedi, but you're not Force sensitive, I'm be like, you know what, Ahsoka, you left the Order anyway, so you don't have the authority to even say that. Come on now.
Oh my God, please! I don't want to talk about that, but I will. Right? The whole time they're like, "Oh, former Jedi Knight." She never became a Knight.
No,
she was still a Padawan. I don't know why they're calling her a Jedi Knight.
Is that right? When you're a Jedi Knight, you're not.
Well, what is her training before her training was complete, Anakin fell.
Right.
I get it, but she's still a knight, right? Like, what are the rankings?
No, she was a commander in the Clone Wars. That doesn't make you a Jedi Knight. She was still an apprentice. She was still a Padawan.
Yeah, Padawan, Jedi Knight, and then Master.
Right.
Right. So yeah.
Anakin was a Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's why he had an apprentice.
And the Master means that you're in that circle in the council, like 12 people.
Correct.
Can there be more than that? Like sometimes there's only 5 masters, sometimes there's 20 masters. How many masters are there?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Like, do they move the seats? They move the furniture and say we gotta add one more?
No, it depends, right? Because Qui-Gon was a master, but he wasn't on the council, right? So just because you're a master doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be on the council.
Wait, Qui-Gon wasn't on the council?
He had the ability to be on the council, but he refused.
Right.
So then why, man, this is, okay, you guys are teaching me right now. Then why the huge conflict with Anakin not being admitted to the council, but being made a Jedi Master? Why was it such a disrespect if Obi-Wan's own master didn't join the Jedi Council when he was a master.
Well, because you have to be a master to be on the council, right? So
Right.
what they did is they put Anakin on the council, but they didn't give him the rank of master. That's why he was upset. So
Oh,
yes,
he
I'm
could
on the
be on the
council,
council. He just
but
couldn't be a
he
Jedi
wasn't
master.
a master. Yeah,
The only reason he was there was because he was the
Palpatine.
representative for Palpatine.
Yeah.
And the Jedi were like, hey, you know what? We can ask you to spy for us. When really Palpatine was like, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna ask little Anakin to spy,
But
and that's gonna
that's
make
my
him
thing,
doubt the
though.
Jedi.
If you're gonna go double agent, then at least show him, give us some kind of show of faith. It almost ended up like they're trying to pimp him out, you know, like we know who our enemy is, but we're just gonna reverse engineer it, and you'll be our slave. And then you know, maybe that's the downfall.
Pretty much
that's a
what
number
they
one.
did.
Yeah, that's the number one reason why Anakin got confused so much, because everybody was trying to use him.
Yeah.
Yep. That late season of the Clone Wars, all right, not 7, but maybe 6 or 5. That episode with Sifo Dyas getting answers, and when then they actually learn how the clone army came to be, and they're like, "We'll tell nobody about this." That was the shadiest moment that the Jedi have ever done. I hope people remember that. That Sabine apprentice angle wasn't needed. You'd think Ahsoka would have attempted to train Jason. You would think
Thank you.
You would think so, and she wouldn't train Grogu either.
But would she just dip on Sabine and just start training Jason? Like, yeah, Sabine, sit over there.
She doesn't like the way the Jedi did things. That order was a flawed order. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to teach the non-Metachlorian person right now to become my apprentice. I'm not going to do the regular thing. She's from an unconventional lineage of Obi-Wan and Anakin and
But
Qui-Gon.
also the most historic lineage in all of Jedi history. You know, she's untraditional, but still like peak lineage.
But let's listen to this, right? The whole time in the show, where we have a character that's speaking for us, the robot is literally saying, "This is a waste of time. You don't have the potential to be a Jedi." I don't know why Ahsoka is even bothering with you.
I agree.
He has been shutting him down at every turn. Like, she's not that good,
right?
And they got the same voice actor who was playing this robot in Clone Wars, who's playing Hu Yang. Hu Yang's a great character. If you ask me, like, I didn't think anything of this character when I first saw him. I just said, oh, what a cool little Easter egg that they got this guy back all of a sudden. Nah, he's delivering everything I need from, like, from we're talking about lineage, we're talking about some of the old stuff, that prequel love. He's a big representative of that, and we got that covered. Then you look at all the Rebels tie-in, so you're pleasing some of those Rebels guys, Clone Wars guys. You're pleasing even like old original trilogy guys. Yeah. Who's not being served here?
Yeah, I mean, even the way that he functions is kind of like a callback, you know, to how everything used to be in the original trilogy. How the robots move, they're like clanky, kind of like almost lifelike, but then they also give the functionality that they're still robotic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hu Yang took me a while when I saw the spelling, but now I can properly pronounce it. That was so confusing. If they want to say she earned the rank of Jedi Knight because she endured her Jedi trial, this is a brand new information to us. Too close to power. What's too close to power? We're still talking about Anakin?
I have no idea.
Will Freddie Prinze Jr. ever show up? Nah, that's it. He's done with this character. He was the voice actor for Kanan, everybody. Qui-Gon didn't follow the traditional Jedi code, hence why he wasn't a council member. He always did his own thing.
You know why? Because he was Dooku's apprentice.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. Dooku to Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon to Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan to Anakin.
Yes.
Anakin to Ahsoka. Well, kind of.
Yep. And I explained this in a video essay I did about Dooku for Tales of the Jedi, how Dooku was literally responsible for everything that happened to Anakin. He's literally the precursor to him. And therefore, like, Dooku is like literally his great grand master.
Yeah, in a way, he puts things into place. Who was the one who trained Dooku? Was that Yoda?
Yes.
But Yoda gets everyone. Yoda can say he trained Mace Windu, right?
Yeah, he's been around for so long that everybody is his apprentice.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't like that. I don't like that Yoda becomes like the stem of the tree. I wanted more. I want to have an answer to that question, and we keep going back further and further. That would make the High Republic more interesting, really.
You see,
I
the
think
reason
though,
why I
if you
don't.
start at Yoda and you start to build out the different type of like isolated lineages, right? Obviously, it breaks. It has to break off from somewhere. It has to originate at some point. I don't look at necessarily as Yoda as being like the father of all Jedi, if that's what you were saying. At least that's
By,
not how it comes off to me.
by the time Order 66 happens, he is the father of all
He's the
Jedi.
father of
There's
all
even a
Jedi.
scene, Attack of the Clones, when Kenobi was like, "Hey, let's find the star system." All those kids there, Master, do you think like they were being?
That's
But
what that's why I'm saying he's
Were
literally.
you laughing with me or
everybody's-
at me, Marcus? I feel
With
offended.
you. I was
Okay.
laughing with you.
That's the main reason why I say he's literally, metaphorically, everybody's master, because he's been around for 800 years. That he's able to like see everybody grow and die.
Right. And not only that, like it's already been established that Jedis can have more than one Padawan, right? Because
Really?
because
Yes.
when Qui-Gon found Anakin, he wanted to take him on as his Padawan. Yoda was like, "You already have one." And that's when he said Obi-Wan's ready to do the trials. And so once
Oh,
Obi-Wan moves
Obi-Wan
on,
moving on.
he can take someone else as his Padawan.
no, that's
And
a good point. That's
I
a good
also
point.
If
think
Dooku,
Dooku had an apprentice before Qui-Gon too.
Yeah.
if Dooku is the precursor for how Anakin was handled, if Qui-Gon is his master and not Obi-Wan, does it change anything?
Yes.
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 Why?
Because
Watch-
if
If
you
Qui-Gon is the excuse me, if Dooku is the precursor, if everything flowed down from Qui-Gon's teachings through, Dooku's teachings through Qui-Gon and
Through Obi-Wan.
vicariously through Anakin, they just would have cut out the middleman of Obi-Wan, right? It would
no,
have been faster.
so here's the thing, right? If you watch I think it's a documentary on
Disney
Star Wars.
Gallery, Disney Plus
Yeah,
Gallery
that's
for
it.
Mandalorian.
Basically, yeah, go ahead, Chill. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was when Dave Filoni was sitting in a council and he was talking about.
He broke that shit down perfectly,
He,
bro.
he said, you know why the song is even called Duel of the Fates? Because
Yeah.
the Fates is like, if the Maul side wins, then the fate of Anakin is
Anakin.
that's at fate, right?
Yeah.
That's at stakes right there. Because with Qui-Gon, you would get the proper teaching and everything, and you'd have a good future. And then the duel is between him and Maul. And when Maul wins, it begins us down the path of the dark side to Darth Vader. I characterized it poorly, but it's on Disney Plus, and you can find it. It's called The Gallery.
Well,
I also would like to
Well,
add
yeah,
that
go
it's
ahead.
also the duel of Qui-Gon's fate. I mean, not Qui-Gon's fate, Dooku's fate, because Dooku was still kind of like in between whether he should join the dark side until Qui-Gon died. That's when he was like, you know what? F the Jedi. I don't care no more.
Yeah, and that's what they established in the Tales of the Jedi stuff, right? But what basically is saying is Obi-Wan, I'm sorry, Qui-Gon was more like a father figure to Obi-Wan, to
Yes.
Anakin, and Obi-Wan was like a brother, right? So that's the reason why it was called the Duel of the Fates. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah,
And what's his name? Obi-Wan. He wasn't fit to be his master because
Right.
he didn't have the experience. He didn't come off like Qui-Gon was to be a father figure. He was more like an older brother. That's why Anakin would always disrespect him
mhm,
because he didn't respect him as much.
right, absolutely. And then even in Revenge of the Sith, he says, "Anakin, you were like a brother to me." You know what I mean?
Right.
Where Qui-Gon would have been more like a father.
You're my son, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And
no,
Dooku would
don't
be
say
his
that.
grandfather.
Say mentor. Say mentor. You can't say like a father. People get offended. Like, remember when Kyrie Irving was asked if LeBron James was a father? Remember that interview?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't ask another grown ass man. Do you look at this other grown man as your father?
You know.
I have a dad.
Unless
a
he's
dad.
like 25 years older than you, then maybe.
Yeah.
Lucas said Anakin really needed Qui-Gon as a father figure, and Obi-Wan was never suited for that role. Thank you.
100%.
We got more from the show because those pesky Purgo that we remember from Rebels way back when, I like the way that they look on screen. The answers that I never thought I needed about light speed, that's what we're gonna get from this show more so. And I like it. I like that the Purgo are a thing here. Like who would have thought? See, if you only got 6 movies, you're never gonna get things like this. But when things expand and there's more time to answer questions that people were asking and didn't even know to ask, we get an answer to how light speed travel even came to be. We traveled because we saw these Purgles travel, and some of the routes that they take, we studied them and we know where to go. It's great. The Purgles are a very great inclusion in the post George Lucas Star Wars. Does anyone have an opinion, a counter to that? Because I want to fight somebody. This is an awesome thing.
I'm not countering. I just wish that people would just watch Rebels and Clone Wars, because they would have knew everything already before this.
Yeah.
So I tried to catch up, right? I haven't finished Rebels, but
Marcus sounds like me.
yeah, I haven't finished Rebels. When I knew Ahsoka was on the horizon, I was like, well, let me watch as much of it as I can, so I can at least get an idea of who the characters are, right? Because they kind of just throw you into it, which I like. I got that little bit about like the space whales, right, and them being tied to light speed and also the kind of routes that they travel. When I saw them on screen, it got me excited, right? It was, oh shit, that's the thing that's in Rebels, right? I liked all of that stuff that we've been getting out of this series so far. Like Chill talked about the flashes between Anakin and Vader when she was going through her fight in the War Between Worlds. That shit really, it was like geeky stuff. It's the stuff that they used to give you in Marvel to get you excited about the whatever was going on, whatever storyline was being perpetuated, that they just don't do anymore. Like this is fan service stuff that actually adds to the story. It's not tearing anything down. It's not changing lore. It's just good old fashioned nostalgia, right? And you can just eat that stuff up when it's done right.
What I
100%.
really like, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
What I was gonna say is what I really liked about this episode is that he gave you a flashback for the casual fan like myself that knows Star Wars, but I don't know everything. And of course, I told you guys earlier on the show that I missed a lot of Clone Wars because I did not know that was canon. I thought that was strictly a kid show, and I missed Rebels because I had the same thought. So I never really kind of got into it until I had to do a recap for Ahsoka and try to watch some episodes here and there and stuff like that. And I like the way that they did that flashback. Again, like Marcus said, it didn't take anything away from the entertainment at all. It actually enhanced it, but it also got the casual fan like myself that missed that just a recap of what she had to go through. And like I said in on my live stream today, I thought Ahsoka was born because of what Dave Filoni wrote, not knowing she has all this tragedy that she went through with Anakin. So her seeing and also walking away from Anakin. So when she goes through this transformation, she's in that water and she's seeing, Anakin and going through these flashbacks, and he's basically, whether he's Force Ghost, he's alive, whatever. The training is amazing because, like Chill said, it's her character growth. And that's something that I love the most. They didn't tell you, they showed you. And that was amazing. And now I'm even more excited about the show.
And you know what else they're doing to get the casuals into it? They know what to do. This angle right here of Hera Syndulla, why did they not change it? Why are they keeping it on her? What's going on? Why do we got to watch her walk all the way back?
Man,
there
I
is.
was the only one.
Facts. They did that on purpose.
We're 5
Yeah.
episodes
One
deep. It
cheeky
keeps
alien.
happening. It keeps
Mhm.
happening.
Lord
We're
have mercy.
Everybody.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of like that part.
Quick on this thick ass alien.
Yes, these Twi'leks have a reputation, right? Ayla and Sakura.
They sure do.
And the one from Book of Boba Fett, what was her name? Jessica Biel played her.
It doesn't matter.
I don't remember her
it
name.
doesn't
But
matter.
yeah, the name
It
don't
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what her name is.
Twilight. It doesn't matter.
Hey, Dre Mac, I know you're going to do a live stream right now, the Blurred AF experience. That's going to start 20 minutes from right now, correct?
No, hour and 20 minutes from right now. Remember, I'm on Central Time. So
I don't know that you're starting in 20 minutes. My bad. I was just gonna say if you needed to go, hey, let me do a stream redirect. Never mind. Disregard what I was gonna say about that. But okay, the booty shots. Okay, I'm not a pig. I'm not a. How do I say this without sounding like
I'm a pig? I'll say it. I'm a pig. Yeah, good.
Yeah, if they're going to give it to you like that, consume it the way that they want to give it. They're trying to give it. I mean, a 5-second close shot on her butt as she's walking away to the to the ship for no reason is pretty poignant. I think they would catch something like that in post or whatever if they were trying to get it out. I think it's there for a reason.
I mean, come on. Disney has been known to be masking sexual behavior in their
Facts.
content for a whole century now. So let's not be surprised.
It's happening too often for like a female focused, hey, you got to respect women, this and that, like all that empowerment stuff that I believe that Kathleen Kennedy is for. I don't think she's just for they're on screen, women, we win. I think like
But
how you
also, I
present
don't think
women
it's
matters.
impossible to do both. I don't think it's impossible to be empowering
No,
and
it is.
also have
Nope.
women
Nope.
show
See?
their bodies.
No, a woman showing
So
her body. So we got Ahsoka or Rosario Dawson
it's not
bending
like
over
she's
here.
exposed or naked, right? So when we have Chris Hemsworth getting his entire clothes ripped off in a Thor movie, he's not empowered. He's not a powerful man anymore. It's what it depowers him. It doesn't.
Oh no! Those women thought he was powerful in that scene
So
for sure.
equally,
You know
she's
what I
not
mean?
a strong or a powerful woman anymore because she has a nice body.
Haram.
Haram, brother, stay strong.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. I literally do believe that these are two different philosophies. We gotta hold it down for women and have them be strong and everything. Oh, look, scratch that. You mentioned Thor. Let me actually respond to what you're saying.
Sure.
Equal energy. That the nudity with Thor showing his butt cheeks in a movie theater, even like the Hulk and stuff like that. And well, not the Hulk. That wasn't supposed to be sexy. That was funny.
Chris Evans. I mean, it is the quintessential superhero thing to have your shirt off and be sweating or wet or something.
And for those reasons, I have to say it's the same problem. It's the same. Okay. Do we have a problem with men being sexualized and seen for just their bodies the same way we do for women?
Obviously
No.
not.
No.
Obviously not.
And that's that's what makes a difference for me here. While I still recognize what they did with Chris Hemsworth was for that female audience who want to go to the movies and enjoy him looking like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I
I get
mean,
what you're saying. I get where you're going with it. I think at a certain level, though, it's a numbers game. And so, like certain things, even in our media or our creative content, right, our art, there is a certain degree of marketing in it, right? And so, if you want a male audience to pay attention to a almost full female cast, I guess I'll be the misogynist in the room for a half a second. You have to. I don't think it's not a coincidence that most of the actors that are appearing in this are also attractive.
It's an
is just a
aesthetic,
numbers thing.
and that works for wrestling too. When they scout wrestlers, female wrestlers, they know to look
Sure.
at the bikini competitions to get Mandy Rose or Amanda Sachs, whatever her real name is, or Naomi. We know, like there's these, and then there's the ones who have wrestling backgrounds who actually do wrestle in front of arenas of 100 people for $20 that we see, and you know, even from there they look and try to find the best looking from that crop, the Mercedes, the like what's Paige's real name, Saraya, you know, Tennille Dashwood. They try their best to get the kind of like better looking of that crop, and it's really hard for a player, Mia Yim. It's really hard for who's Asuka. It's really hard for those who've got wrestling knowledge, wrestling ability, wrestling everything. They just don't have the hourglass and the curves, and it's unfair to them. Now, when we're talking about acting, where you're going to be wearing so much prosthetics and so much everything, damn, we have to go and get the big booty actors too. Like,
Yes.
I mean,
I hear
do
you,
live
but
in
that's
current
not
society.
unlike for anyone, right? Like if you wanted to play Thor and you were 5'5" and you were bald and black, the prospects of you playing Thor are about this big. It's just the way of Hollywood. That's just what it is. But even within that, though, understanding the dynamics, number one, equal energy, like you said. We judge the men the same way we judge things that are happening to the women. And then number two, maybe we don't have to be so restrictive in how things look or how we judge them right off of the top. I'm mature enough that I can watch that, move on, and still enjoy the content. Other folks are going to take it another way. should you censor that for the other folks who are going to be immature with it?
We should censor it for the girls watching who don't know if they'll develop into something like
But
that.
you will
Every
never
man
censor that
watching,
for a male. You would
every
never
I
have
do,
a young
I
boy,
do, but
but they
that
won't do it, is what
the
I'm
reason
saying. They will
the
never put a skinny, frail superhero at the
you can
forefront because that's
attain
not
that
true.
body if you want to look like Chris Hemsworth. Aside from the height, you don't have that, but you can look perfect like a freaking statue, no matter anything. If you're a male, so long as you're able-bodied, you can achieve that body.
Gross.
Women
That is a
can't.
completely unobtainable body. Chris Hemsworth, any of those superheroes, they work out for 3, 4, 5 times a day. They have specifically tailored diets. They have personal trainers. We don't have the funds to get that kind of body. We do not. There's nothing you could do at a gym 2 or 3 times a week to look like Chris Hemsworth.
We don't have
You
the
can look
juice
like you're
either.
fresh out of
It's
jail, but you
completely
ain't look like Chris
unobtainable.
Hemsworth.
All of it is from J Lo to Jennifer Lawrence to any of them. They are. Have you ever heard Hugh Jackman talk about what he has to do to look like Wolverine?
It's difficult, yes.
It's not obtainable for normal people. So anything out there, whether it's a male or a female, where you have celebrities being propped up to look a certain way, is going to have a negative effect on the public. But if we are trying to say that we're trying to keep everything equal and maybe move on from some of the kind of restrictive ideas we have on sexuality and whatever, and it's getting into the weeds of other stuff.
But that is what I am, where I am though. But okay.
But if that's what we would like to do, then maybe we don't have to continue to be so restrictive off of the outdated ideals that keep us in these forms of doing this kind of media in the first place.
I lose. The majority has spoken. Justice for big booty actors.
Exactly.
Facts.
I'm always cool with big booty actors. I honestly didn't notice it until you pointed it out. Chill said that, hey, look, it'll be there in episode 6 again, and everything Marcus and the crew right now were saying will stand. Nothing that they're saying I can really combat with. I gave my opinion. That's that. I don't think a normal what?
Sorry about that. You can read it.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't that the same actress from Scott Pilgrim?
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Marie Elizabeth Winstead. She was in Passions. Did you guys ever watch that soap opera?
No, I don't watch soap operas.
She was in the.
I hate to say it, but I actually did watch it.
Yeah, it was on Global, right? Channel 3.
Hey, no judgment, man. I'm just saying I don't watch it.
I did see Die Hard 3 though. She was John McClane's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That is
was.
John McClane's daughter. Wow.
That is her. Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
Mike, I appreciate the membership.
There was a super chat I saw before that said Qui-Gon was the worst Jedi.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, I seen that one. Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
spicy take.
again. That is Mike. He's a prequel hater,
It's
so
one of
let's
the
not
worst
listen to
Jedi
anything.
ever. Damn, bro,
yeah.
comment.
Yeah, that is
Sheesh.
Mike. Yeah.
Hey, that's his opinion. I just wanted him to clarify on why.
Spicy.
Because he hates the prequels. That's why. That's the only reason why he hates the prequels.
I don't know why the prequels get so much hate, but you know what? It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
He said
Some of the CGI stuff does not hold up well today. And then the crying Hayden Christensen stuff in Revenge of the Sith. But other than that, I thought it was cool. I thought it was all right.
I thought everything was fine.
Me too.
I don't think a normal person has the resources to achieve that body type. You're
Right,
not going to
you
get
ain't got no secret
perfect,
serum.
but you're not going to get the exact body of Hugh Jackman Wolverine. But on the women's side, there's no amount of pull-ups and squatting which will increase the, you know what I mean?
Maybe not to
But
get
$10,000 to get you whatever you want.
Facts. Facts.
That
surgically.
Secret serum, huh? That Captain America
Yeah,
secret serum.
The super soldier serum.
Superhero training is like Olympic athlete training. Was in Iron Man 3. What was in Iron Man 3? I was a member. It said there was a problem. Oh, it is what it is, Rogue. I appreciate the membership now. And since I'm a paying customer, all of my opinions are fact. Ginny is the worst Jedi ever. What is Ginny? What is this? What does it mean? Qui-Gon Jinn?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh, like a typo? Okay. Am I done with the episode? Yeah, I think we are done, right? I was showing you Rosario bending over. Let's get to the end.
See what I'm saying?
That was unintentional, right?
No, that wasn't. Everything is intentional because it keeps happening. Every episode 6 will have another. If Hera is in this episode, we will see more.
Oh no! They've already showed us. We're getting a lot of long shots on Hera, but everybody else I think is safe.
Hey, now that I think of it, I didn't even try. But look up, the woman on the right side here is.
Yeah,
You feel me?
I think you're just seeing it now. It's like you bought a car and now you're seeing a car everywhere.
Hey, for real,
True.
the Imperial clothes, boy, they make you do something.
There's a lot of women in leadership roles like this one here, and fans have complained about it. And I just say, Hera being a general is just progression from what we got from Rebels and Ahsoka, and unfortunately Zeb Aurelian. He's a very difficult to recreate, expensive animation, so he won't be in much of this. And the point of Ezra is that he's missing, so we're not going to see a lot of Ezra. I don't take an issue. I don't think this is some sort of let's stuff the women in there at the expense of men. I like Sabine, Ahsoka, and Hera. I find it as a non-issue.
This story, I feel like it fits. Everybody who's in there fits.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, when you see like this type of casting being this swung to one gender, it feels like it was done purposefully. But with the added context of this is like an established IP already, the storyline that they're drawing from is already established. Everybody already knows what to expect. So it feels natural.
And I like that it fits and we're getting our lady representation here because we no longer have to have the forced in there. Like, oh yeah, I guess Book of Boba Fett needs to have his sidekick who's also we don't gotta have Reva in the Kenobi show because we're not female enough. Yeah, look, this is a very female focused show. Good, right? It's all female. All right, cool. Now, the next time when there's a male show, we never have to stop progression to offer more screen time to the females, or else we're being sexist because that's the way they're afraid of. They think of their little percentages that they've got to meet to have a proper show, and that's not an issue.
ESG, baby.
What did you say? Diversity, equity, inclusion?
Mm-hmm.
Where's
So
Zeb, by the way?
I was gonna say I do believe that that is the female agenda in this show. They have Kathleen Kennedy has talked about it many times. Force is female and all that stuff. I just think a lot of people are hating it because of that reason. I don't care if I'm watching a good show with strong women or strong men, just as long as it's a good show. You know what I mean? And Ahsoka's good. That's what I care about, that we got a good show. But you see, you got these other people out there running around because of the Force's female stuff. Oh, well, it's her agenda, this. And then you got the Acolytes that are coming out, which is supposed to be another female-led Star Wars. So that's why they're hating. But after that, I'm like, hey, if Acolytes comes out and it's fire like this, good job.
Yeah, I don't have much in the Acolyte.
Let's be honest.
Polonium on Acolyte.
Thank you.
And let's be honest. If you look at some of the episodes of Rebels where you had, there was female centric, if you could say it in that way. There was heavily female centric. Nobody complained. I think it's just people just get on, their platforms. They complain about stuff that have no merit. And when you look at the totality of everything, but there's always women in these shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
There were always, there was always this focus. You know what I mean? Why is it now? Oh, because it's easy to get on your platform and complain. You know what I mean? And people would, jump on the bandwagon. So, that's what I feel about that.
I find that the criticisms have been correct a lot of times. I disagree with Ahsoka, right? But a lot of times they meaning those who are angry that there's always these women all in prominent positions taken for men. I find that the studios would provide answers to questions in interviews, and I'd be like, oh shit, wait.
They feed right into it.
That is what's happening.
I agree with that.
Feed right into it. The whole She-Hulk saga, that's an embarrassment.
Oh yeah, I don't even want
that is an absolute embarrassment. You're being pegged as being anti-male, and so your answer to that is to take an entire section of the last 2 episodes of your show to troll not only men but a specific YouTuber.
Oh, that's what they did.
Yeah, did you see any of the last 2
No,
episodes?
I haven't watched MCU content in a long time.
I watched it, but I don't remember that. What did they do?
There's a scene at the I think it's episode 7 or 8 where she like breaks the fourth wall. She's talking to the audience or whatever. They show that they're behind a
Oh yeah,
screen
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever, right? They're
Oh, when
recording.
when she goes into the writing room.
yeah.
Yeah, she goes into the writing room and then like she's on there like mimicking a somebody wearing a helmet talking about She-Hulk, right? She's mimicking Homeboy that does all the Star Wars. Right? I know you don't want me to mention people on here, so I'm trying to stay vague.
You know me well, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay vague.
Dre's the same way. I was watching Dre tiptoe around naming a name also a few hours ago on his stream.
But
So
it's a very prominent scooper in the Star Wars verse. If you think for a few minutes, I think
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
on it. But it's like that's what you're taking your time on. 50 million, 20 to 50 million dollars per episode is what we're spending on this, and that's what y'all in there doing. That's embarrassed. Like you're antagonizing the people that you want to sign up for a monthly subscription to watch this shit, just for them to get on and see that.
They have the money for it.
It's embarrassing. No, they don't. No, they don't.
Oh,
we need to get out of that. We really need to get out of that.
You sure?
They're not made out of money and they don't print cash. They're hurting.
Okay.
They're hurting.
If you say so.
I don't know if anybody follows stocks on here, but they're flirting around $80 per share. That's terrible. It's terrible. Disney at its peak was well over $100 per share. And so if you're into buying stocks markets right now or buying stocks, blue chips, go ahead and get you some Disney because that thing is prime right now. May even wait a little bit, might fall even further by the end of the year.
You think that means anything when you have old money?
I think that means something to the people that give them money to create things. And that's the one thing we got to remember. Stockholders, they want their money. And it's one thing if you're doing all of this stuff and you're still bringing in Billies, posting up Billies. Ooh, another Billy. Ooh, highest grossing film of the year. Billy. They ain't had one of those in a long time.
Okay.
They ain't had one of those in a long time. They got legal issues with their local government. They're not safe right now. They're talking about selling to someone. They're selling the Disney conglomerate to a tech company. They're not healthy right now at all.
So for one, I don't think they'll ever.
They'll be okay.
Oh, here we go.
That's what they need to do.
So I don't think they'll ever sell Disney, right? Because people got to understand it's not just Disney. They own ESPN. They own a lot of these other things. Now they may be hurt.
Break it up to a certain
right.
degree.
They may be hurting, but again, stocks go up and down all the time, right? So they're probably just like, okay, yeah, we're hurting now. Let's ride it out and see if the stocks will go back up. I think as long as they start putting out these good movies and good shows, their stocks will go back up. You know, they gotta.
That's dependent on your right?
Yeah,
that they're creating good content and that they can, number one, get people back to their services and their parks.
Right.
Because all of that's down. You have to have good content to perpetuate that.
They don't.
Now,
as
we look on the horizon of Disney content, is there any prospects of good content coming out?
They don't need good content. They just need to rely on pandering content. If you have pandering, people will buy into it regardless.
That's what they've been doing, though, Slevin, and that's what's got them in the hole, is pandering content. And that is what's led us to this spot where we're at with Disney.
Listen, right. I understand what you're saying, but the majority of the audience likes the pandering.
What audience, Slevin? What audience?
The audience that pays attention to the MCU still. The audience that still goes to the live action Disney movies. The audience that still thinks Disney is a good thing for kids. Little Mermaid was the last live action movie, right? How much did Little Mermaid made? I don't know. I didn't pay attention to none of that.
No, but that's what I'm getting at, right? Is that like I think a lot of things that Disney is built on is reputation. We expect big numbers, we expect high revenues, we expect them to just be able to do what Disney does, which as of late, within the last decade or so, has been a lot of pandering, right? That wheel, I'm telling you, is broken. They're cutting their audiences in half. You can look at Black Panther as an example. You can look at Little Mermaid as an example. Their highest grossing live action film almost hit 1.5 billion. If Little Mermaid making 500 million is a success, that's a fall from grace, y'all. And if we keep looking around, we go to Star Wars, we can go to Marvel, we can go to Disney Animation, we can go to Pixar, we can go to Disney live action. What's successful? What's getting the cash cow? They're down in subscribers. They're well under projections on what they should have had right now for Disney Plus. They're fighting with cable companies over channels that nobody wants anymore and trying to strong arm people into agreements that don't benefit them. They got to pay Hulu by the end of the year for their Comcast by the end of the year for their stake in Hulu. They have to buy them out. There's a lot of stuff packing up, and we just keep expecting, oh, they'll make the money. They'll make the money. They'll make it. They'll find a way.
I mean, Hulu has live sports. They'll make their money.
And
Hulu
I
will
agree.
make money, but that doesn't mean that Disney's going to be able to keep their hands on Hulu in the short term because they owe Comcast for their part of the library that's in Hulu.
I actually agree with what you're saying. I agree with a lot of what. Oh, take care, man. Have a good one.
All right, bro.
I agree with what you're saying too, right? I do 100%. I agree with you, but I also think that a lot of these movies that are not making the money is because, well, one, they're pandering, people don't want to see them, but also, like I said earlier on another stream, is that things are getting a lot more expensive since the pandemic, right? So now you got to pick and choose which movies you're going to see. And if Disney is making a movie that really doesn't appeal to you, but then you can go watch this Mission Impossible movie, people are going to most likely pick the Mission Impossible movie. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So I agree with you 100%, but I don't think it's all just because of the pandemic. I think there's a lot of the pandemic stuff that happened into it too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for
sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I agree with you 100%.
Mike says to me, if you felt attacked or some kind of way about that part of She-Hulk, then you might need to re-examine things. It's kind of like that Star Wars tweet, the one where they say that we are opposed to racism, and if that triggers you, then hey, what does that say about you? I think that there was a direct mention of a YouTuber in that show. So no, we're not imagining things, right? They really were.
It was pretty obvious.
Shit, both you guys are gonna have to tell me off screen or write it in the private chat.
Here,
I don't remember.
I'll put it in
the chat. I don't remember. I'm like,
well, are we talking about She-Hulk or Star Wars?
Well, first we were talking about Star Wars, and then it got into She-Hulk and Disney and everything.
The reference of, because remember I said this.
Yeah, you did say it. Yeah,
I didn't pick a specific one, but
you said a specific one.
But the villains of She-Hulk, I said they were literally like YouTubers, anti-woke YouTubers and stuff, as they call them. The villains of She-Hulk literally was that, and I'm like, wow, you wasted this like big character on some trolls that you don't like. And I'm like, wow, all this money just to give a trolls attention that you supposedly don't care about. It's clear they care about these trolls. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think these anti-woke people really do a lot to hurt these films, but the fact that they cared enough to make the villain of She-Hulk, and mind you, I was excited for She-Hulk. You was their show. I was saying that that's probably the only Disney Plus show aside from Falcon Winter Soldier I was excited for. You was there. You can't say I wasn't excited, and I was heavily disappointed. I was like, wow, really wasted all this money on some YouTubers.
Mike from Rogue Comics is in the building. Can we just wrap up on our Star Wars stuff? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I did get that. Share my opinion on Ahsoka.
On Ahsoka Tano. So that final scene shows that it's going to be Hu Yang with Ahsoka hopping on these Purgle and traveling to another galaxy far, far away. Why the hell?
Talking about that robot?
What's wrong with that?
I wanted the Ghost. I wanted to see Jason in there. I wanted them to take risks, and I wanted maybe even Carson Teva.
Wait, you want them to actively bring a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old? How old is he? To another dimension where they don't know exactly what's going to happen over there. It's bad enough he was in the war. They're in the war right now. You understand that, right? And they're bringing a kid along.
He's just there.
Right. She brought him to the whole conflict.
And I just saw
the planet.
There was another stream that was on, and they were complaining about Ahsoka being like more light. Like, and I'm not trying to be like, punny or whatever, but like before they were complaining about her just being stoic and like being, quick, and very, very guarded with the words that she would use when she would speak. But now they have a problem with her being a little more flippant, like, oh, well, let's see where it goes, or, whatever she was saying to Hu Yang. Like this is part of the problem with this. And Marcus, please do not at all take anything I say personally, because I don't mean it personally or anything like that. But like, I understand about pandering and stuff like that, and I think it was Slevin that also brought it up too. Okay, so I don't disagree that sometimes there can be pandering to things, but people on the internet, people on YouTube seem to think that, and not necessarily the people that are represented on this screen, but there are individuals who think that something has to be chill. You come on, I'm on my box, dude. You know this. And people think that things have to be catered to them. And if it's not, then they consider it an automatic failure. I did not watch any of this Clone Wars stuff. I did not watch any of the Rebel stuff or whatever. And I did watch a YouTuber who actually said that, oh, it's not necessary because, you know, what you watch in Ahsoka, you'll be able to, you know, catch it up as you go along or whatever. And I'm like, I had a basic knowledge of like Ezra and stuff like that, so I at least knew that. But like, had I not, like, who the hell's Ezra? Like, what's going on? I don't understand any of what's going on. And in that regards, I feel they failed. However, the show is good, and I don't know where. There's always these arguments. Oh well, you know, it should have been 12 episodes, or it should have been 6 episodes. Like if a show it takes its time to set up the story and do that. Oh, they should have given it more episodes. But if a show like, you know, just rams through and it just goes through at light speed, and it's like, oh, it should have been like 6 episodes. Why they drag it out? They bendiced it by, you know, taking episodes where, you know, they wasted time. What was that?
Oh, my bad.
I mean, he was just not muted. That's all that happened.
Oh, okay. So I don't know exactly what the sweet spot is for the internet anymore, because people will always have an opinion contrary, and it's also, I don't know, maybe it's the phenomenon of getting on and talking, because like these types of conversations, at least on Chill's stream, I mean, I don't know how other people are. Well, actually, I do know a couple other people, and they're terrible. But these are the conversations we would have in my store about like things, but we wouldn't come back with a negative thing like this whole thing with She-Hulk, which I'm trying to stay away from right now because you want to wrap up on Star Wars. So we're going to stick to Star Wars.
Watch your tongue.
But Star Wars, there's been this perception that there hasn't been anything good in Star Wars since The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi was the dam that broke the Star Wars like hate train. Like, and there are things in everything that somebody can relate to. Like if you watch this, like for instance, what Chill brought up the thing with what's her name's you know, well-shaped peach and all that. I didn't realize that while I was watching the episode.
Really?
But now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch it again so I can actually appreciate it. But like,
hello, what have we here?
Exactly. See, and from now on, I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for that. But anyways, so so people can pick different things out of different things, and it could hit somebody in a different way. Like WandaVision hit a bunch of people that, like, you know, were
okay, Mike. You went way off topic, bro. Like you're back on Marvel and you went long. Let's wrap it up. Okay. What is the main point?
Ahsoka was good. I liked this episode, and I can't wait to see where next episode leads us.
Okay.
Although I think people are going to be angry if who's the dude? The main, like the
Ezra?
No, the main dude, the bad dude.
Thrawn.
Yeah.
Thrawn.
I have a feeling that everybody will be upset if they wait until episode 8 to show him. And if it's like in the last
6. How many episodes is she getting?
8.
Oh, yo, guys, I thought the next episode was the finale. I thought we were only getting 6. Jesus.
No, we got 8.
Okay, cool.
So they better, in the next episode, homie better show up at the end, because I have a feeling nobody will be happy if they wait until episode.
I would like him to get to it, right? Like if he's the big badass that they're hyping him up to be, I would at least like to see him. He doesn't maybe have to do anything in 6, but like there should be a grand reveal before we get to the finale.
Because all they've done is mention him. They
all
haven't
they've done
shown
is talk
him.
about him. Show
and like
our time.
For somebody like myself who hasn't seen him, we don't know, you know, even what he looks like or anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's blue.
No, I have the collection of the trade collection of the books. I know what he looks like. I'm just speaking in general for normies that haven't watched Clone Wars, or he wasn't in Clone Wars, was he? He was just in Rebels.
He was in Rebels.
He was in Rebels. Okay, yeah.
Slevin, anything you want to say?
Nah, I just felt kind of like, just to respond, I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree with what you're saying, Mike. I just feel, in my personal view, that there should be a happy medium where you have to please people who've been a fan of the franchise and then people who are trying to join. So in a way, I feel like Disney and Marvel and whoever else that's in that whole conglomerate, they're not doing the service to people who are actual like fans. They're trying to pander to people who are outside of the people who know things about it, and I feel like they're outweighing their what's the word?
Responsibility.
Their liability, you know.
Liability.
So it's kind of like they want to bring people in who don't know anything, and then in that process, they're kind of losing people who do know a little bit, just a little bit more than the average, who watch things like Clone Wars, who watch things like Rebels, and who read the extended universe. So I kind of feel like their responsibility to be able to bring that canon from George Lucas, even though they're kind of like doing him a disservice in a bit. I feel like they have a responsibility with that franchise to make people who already are fans to stick around and feel happy about it, and then also help with the people who don't know anything to bring them in too, not just with the content.
They're appealing to themselves. They're not real true fans.
Well, no, I don't think they're appealing to themselves. I've always said that these companies are more concerned with the people that walk by my store without coming in than they are the people that walk into my store. Because like if Marcus and Slevin come in here, they know we're tickets already. They got us. We're gonna buy. That's 3 tickets right there. They need to worry about the people that don't come in, and that they're the ones that they want to attract. And I do agree with Slevin in some aspects too, because there's got to be a middle ground where they can appeal to like the people that are fans. They can say, hey, you know, I felt like, I don't want to say I felt represented, but I felt represented there, you know. But they could also do that with new people, because it should be the way they change this content. They make it with a total disregard for us, the people that have consumed this stuff to begin with, in their attempts to get the new audience, where they should just be doing what they've given us. Because if we watch it and we've consumed it, clearly there's something that we found in there, and I'm sure they would find it too if given the opportunity. It's just maybe marketing. Maybe they need to work on the marketing or something.
You just gave it away, and that's the reason, right? The fatal flaw of the sequel trilogy is that she, meaning KK, one who shall go unnamed, didn't go with the original treatment that George Lucas gave her when he recommended her to be the new president of Lucasfilm when Disney took it over. When she threw that out the window, which it was supposed to be a Skywalker story, he gets married to Mara Jade or something like that.
Wait. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. He hates Mara Jade.
Okay, maybe not Mara Jade. It was supposed to be something with Luke. He was going
to make Luke a hermit.
Yeah, Luke was not supposed to have any girlfriend or anything like that. He wasn't going to do that. But
I thought the thing had involved Luke having a child with someone.
No. Han and Leia were always the one with the kids. It wasn't Luke. But there's so many different things out there. You have to actually read. I think it's the Travario one or something like that gives you like the real story that it was.
Who wrote Luke's wife? Who wrote Mara Jade? Who was that?
That's EU stuff.
Not
canon.
Okay.
Yeah, not canon.
EU stuff.
Either way, later. Sure, let's keep going. They did not do whatever Lucas gave her originally.
That is correct.
They went with the New Hope remake, right? And then they got their foot in the door with Force Awakens, and they thought they had a hit, and everything else came off of that momentum. They thought they were one thing, and it ended up shaping out being something completely different. And you couldn't prove them different. You couldn't say anything to them because they were still making billion-dollar films.
You see, I agree with you. I'm like, she definitely stabbed George in the back, because if you watch that interview before he sells it, they're there and she's like, yeah, we have to stay true to the characters. And then when she got the chance, she did her own thing, right? I don't have a problem with that. Maybe they really did not like the story George Lucas put together. But what they did do with it was they pretty much bastardized his original characters. And that was the biggest issue, right?
100%. Yep. That was it.
Slevin, your prediction for next week or tomorrow?
As in for the new episode?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good. I think since episode 5 was pretty good overall amongst the people who don't like the show and people who do like the show, I think they're gonna go in a better direction because it's starting to pick up.
Got it. And that guy's channel is Kaiser Slevin. He cannot stay because he said he was going to leave. He said he's going to leave in 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
That was before 5 minutes ago. Appreciate
I
that you stuck
appreciate it,
around
guys.
here.
Appreciate
Kaiser Levin is the name of his
Alright,
YouTube
Slevin.
channel.
Cheers.
You can see he and Back of the Bus team up about the word woke and the way it's supposed to be used.
And also check out the Star Wars content on there as well.
For sure.
K-Dot's in the building. K-Dot, give me your prediction.
Prediction for what, next episode?
Yeah.
Dang, you're not even gonna ask me if I like the episode or not?
The current one that we just had?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Give us your take. What do you want to talk about?
Do we have to listen to K-Dot?
I mean, it was fine. Definitely overhyped, but it was fine. I don't know why they put this episode in theaters.
You have failed me for the last time.
Facts. But you see, here's the thing. I liked the episode. I really did. I thought it was good, right?
I never said the episode was bad, but this episode,
No, I know.
it was overhyped like crazy.
Well,
This
I
was
think
overhyped to the
People
max.
rap like crazy.
Goodness gracious me.
could have did to make it better is instead of cutting to Hera and them looking for Ahsoka, what I think they should have did is they should have cut between that and what's happening with Sabine, right? That would have been more interesting. All they needed to do was give us one little scene where Hera's like, "Oh, we have to find Ahsoka," and then they could have cut between the world between worlds and then give us what's going on with Sabine and them looking for maybe they have a conversation on the ship or something like that. You know what I mean? While they're traveling to find Thrawn or just something like that. But I just think it dragged on because like I didn't really care about them looking for Ahsoka,
If they cut to Sabine, you get Rogue.
I was going to say, like, when Marcus said about pandering and all that, and that brought me to what Anzo just said. I think maybe perhaps they don't have good editors there, or they don't have good story structure. Because, like, yes, what Anzo just said, they could do that. And then maybe people, like, since you're ignoring certain things, then you could come away with, like Marcus said, about feeling that it's pandering because you're trying to do this to this audience without doing that, without giving them both things at once. Like, it seems like today people, and I know this doesn't happen up there in Canada, Chill, but down here in America, there's this thing where people can't multi-manage, like at the same time, they can't multitask thing where you can do one thing for one group and then do something else for another group. And sometimes
we
you can
literally
do something
were just talking about this
where both groups get together.
To talk about it again. Yeah.
They just can't. I don't understand that because it's like in the 90s, comic book industry almost died because they were pandering to all the, the big boobs and the big shoulder pads and the big guns and all that. And they weren't doing anything for the generation that was coming up, the ones that needed to see like Tiny Titans and stuff like that, And it's like, oh, well, they need to do something. But yeah, they can give you guys something, but you got to think about the next generation, which is something they didn't do. And this is where we're at again. I mean, DC used to do cartoons like the Batman animated series and Superman, and those were good for both adults and kids. They both liked them. And like, we don't have anything like that these days. It's either kiddie or it's not.
Or an adult. It's either kiddie or adult.
Yes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because even look at the Harley Quinn show. I like it, right? But you can't have kids watching that.
I watched one episode of that, and I'm like, I'm out. Like, she kept saying F too much, and I'm like,
You're right.
You can't show this to a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the animation space is being dominated by anime, but that that's another.
Well,
You see how Marcus recognizes that he introduced a whole nother subgenre, and he said, "No, we're gonna stick to Star Wars." So if like Anzo's saying, if they go to Sabine Wren, and then we see scenes of her chilling with Shin Hati, and she's like, Shin, you choked me. How do you do it so easily? And she's like, you know what, I'll teach. And then all of a sudden the episode ends where she moves a cup and we got like, we get Sabine Wren using the Force. That would be nice also. And then maybe Sabine would be like or taken underneath either Shin or Baylan Skull, and we find the good guys, quote unquote, sympathizing with the bad.
Now, what is
Baylan Skull's not that bad.
What is Sabine's, like, I saw the Clone Wars movie when they released it theatrically, whatever. I don't know what episodes those were, whatever, but I saw that. Yeah. So I'm familiar with the way Ahsoka was. Yes. But like, how is Sabine? Like, what is her personality in
fighter, artist? She draws a lot of loath cats and a lot of art, and she's capable in jetpack usage. In freaking even sword fighting, she's pretty decent when it comes to combating with a sword. She's good.
So have they been accurately portraying her in this show?
If anything, she could be more aggressive.
It's the problem is, and it's with Hera too. I think Ahsoka, Hera, and Sabine's like chemistry is not horrible, but it's weak compared to the show, and it's because these are Rosario and the actors playing these characters are new to each other. I think what they did previously with like the Cad Bane actor, they put the voice actor behind the makeup, and it felt very familiar because like you got the guy doing the voice, doing this character. With Sabine and Hera, these are completely new actors. These aren't even the voice actors. I'm not saying it has to be the voice actors, but these actors are building a new chemistry that's very foreign to the TV show that they was in, because it's not the same. It feels like they all never met. It feels like this is their first time all meeting one another, especially Sabine.
Someone called Callie White.
But it's not the chemistry is not horrible. It's just not there because these actors are pretty much new to each other.
And they're not going to get the chemistry that they're going to get from doing the interview press run. That camaraderie isn't going to form either.
Did Ahsoka also have that thing where, like, because I almost got the impression that it was kind of she, I don't want to say, I can't think of another word, but like what happened with Anakin, she kind of blamed herself kind of for that stuff. That's why, like, this episode, it was all about going on this journey and learning that, not everything was because, and like, I heard that first battle that she was in, that was kind of partly her fault, I guess, because she did something she shouldn't have done or whatever, and what I was watching or reading. So did they have something like that with Ahsoka in the Rebel show that she was in? Like, because I hear what K-Dots is saying, and if that were the case, though, she could still be carrying that guilt.
That's the thing, right? And for me, while I like the episode, this episode really only matters if you've seen the Clone Wars and Rebels. Like that, the emotional stuff you're going to get out of it that everyone's getting, you're only going to get it from that.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think it would be more Clone Wars. I don't think she came into Rebels until they pretty much had that fight with her and Vader, and she was saved in the World Between Worlds. I don't remember her being throughout the whole series, but it would have to be something in Clone Wars that would give you that kind of stuff about her.
Well, even in Rebels, her and Vader fought. But even at times, that's why I say, even in Rebels, Ahsoka was kind of that character that's like, oh, she's a legacy character. Let's have her pop up in some episodes and get people to watch the show.
Right, but what I'm saying is her
consistent character in that show. Either she wasn't a bad character, but she was just kind of thrown in there, like, yo, Ahsoka's still around, guys.
Right, but what I'm saying, her main arc was in Clone Wars, right? Because that's when she left the Jedi Order, is because they thought she was the traitor and set a bomb and tried to kill everybody, right? So a lot of her stuff that she's holding on to comes from that. I also believe it's the fact that, because they say it in the show where it's like, oh, you're just like me, and I think that's one of the things that she was scared of, is that she could easily maybe turn to the dark side, right? Yeah.
So let me ask you a question then. Okay, because in a couple of weeks, DC is going to drop one of the coolest comic books ever called Justice League versus Godzilla versus King Kong.
Nice.
And that is not going to be a part of the DC universe. That's going to be a side story. So how would you feel? Because I know I've heard people bitch and moan endlessly about the fact that, I have to watch this Marvel thing, or I have to watch this DC thing. How would you feel if they did this Ahsoka show and it had nothing to do with Clone Wars, nothing to do with Rebels? Yes, you had characters, and they might not have been, from a certain time or something.
Mandalorian was that. It had nothing to do with any of Star Wars. It just happened in the same world. We didn't see characters from the first episode of Mandalorian. We didn't see a familiar character at all.
Which we heard a bunch of people claim that that's what Star Wars is. It's supposed to be episodic, right? At the time, but then the reception to the latest Mandalorian season wasn't all that great. Well, I would not prefer it to be so disconnected from what has already been established that it feels like a one-off, or like y'all said, an extended universe.
It's got to feel like it's in the same world, and it can be completely new characters. Is that an answer that you're looking for, Mike?
Well,
I'm just thinking. Well, because I mean, characters aren't the only thing. But if you if let's say they did what you wanted, Chill, but they didn't reference anything that happened in the past, would you be okay with that?
If it's entertaining and it's good and it builds the world, fine. But if I know it's not the regular continuity, the way that Godzilla versus Justice League versus King Kong, it's not going to be regular continuity, right? Then I don't have any time for that. Oh, it's just Star Wars Visions. I didn't even watch season 2. I watched the first season of Star Wars Vision. Never cared to watch season 2 of Vision.
You didn't like it?
So,
Wow.
so here's the thing.
No,
Here's
not I didn't like it. I realized it was of no value to the canon, and it's just filler entertainment. I don't care about for that.
Well, you don't like What Ifs either, do you?
Yeah, like, same thing with What Ifs. They're not part of the canon,
Mm.
and I didn't watch Marvel What If. I watched one Doctor Strange episode. They told me to watch that, and they said it would be relevant to Multiverse of Madness. That's all.
So here's the thing that I'm gonna say is because I think that this Ahsoka show feels like season 5 of Rebels more than an actual Ahsoka show. So they could have actually done an Ahsoka show that was still in the universe but wasn't really connected to this, and then maybe ended it with her reaching out to Sabine and all of them and saying, "Hey, I found a way to find Ezra." Right? They could have done that, but for whatever reason, they
Did
felt
Rebels end? Did it end or was it canceled?
Rebels ended.
I think Rebels ended. I don't
Okay,
think
so
it
this
ended
isn't him
yet.
just trying. Oh, you know what? You canceled Rebels. Screw you. Here's
Yeah, no,
finish it up live.
Yeah, Rebels, because this is technically a glorified sequel to Rebels. It's like a glorified continuation, just Ahsoka's leading. Rebels is Ezra's show. So, you know, the only way Ahsoka works is if you did watch Rebels. I'm not saying you have to watch everything, but you would have to have watched all of Rebels because this has to do with Thrawn. Thrawn was the main villain of Rebels. Ezra was the main character. They're looking for Ezra and Thrawn. So in a sense, you have to watch Rebels.
What's your Thrawn prediction, K-Dot?
I mean, hopefully he shows up and he makes a presence. Hopefully he doesn't just, all right, see you guys in season 2.
What episode do you think is going to show up?
Next one.
Hopefully he shows up. Like, hopefully they tease him at the end of next episode, or he actually shows up because they're on their way to the new universe where Ezra's at. So
Extended Universe has Thrawn with these animals that are like lizards, and they can block the Force. That's how powerful they are.
Really?
I think he's gonna meet those lizardy animals at the new place that they're at right now.
Ooh, that's interesting. I like that.
That's what makes him so formidable against Force users.
And so wait, nobody outside of the first group has the map to that dimension universe, right?
Nah, bro. That's why she's just hopping in a Purgle and hoping that the Star Wheel takes her.
I think you just opened up the arc for Sabine. If Thrawn is going to start using those animals to block the Force.
Oh, I wish I hadn't said that. You ruined. You ruined the show for me, Marcus. That's gonna be such.
You just opened up her arc.
That's her value.
Yes,
we don't need Force users or midichlorians. What we need is that guy who can be discreet. You know, they're prepared for that enemy. They're not ready for this Sabine.
They're not ready for her. There it is.
Good job. Any predictions from you, Marcus? More than that?
Yeah, I think Thrawn will pop up in 6. I'm not. I don't need him to do a lot. I don't need to do anything other than establish. Hey, I appreciate that, Aaron. I need them to establish him as a threat. Make him a threat. Make me understand why Thrawn is a thing. Because just like everybody else has explained here, that was a Rebels thing. If I didn't finish Rebels, which I haven't, and I've never seen it before, I don't know why this blue guy with red eyes is even a big deal. Just give me a show of strength, and I'll be good.
Also,
sorry.
Yeah. Well, I have a prediction. I think, I would like to see them do it. It would be good. But because Ezra and Thrawn have been in this other world for a long time, what if they reach there and find out that Ezra's working for Thrawn now? Right?
See, I thought one of the.
I agree with Anso. That has to be the case. That has to be.
Who's the guy who had the Brock? I thought that was him. I thought
Marok was the biggest pump fake. It was like, oh guys, everyone make theories. He wears a mask. So who could it be? There's gonna be no mask.
I thought it was gonna be Ezra. I thought it was gonna be Ezra. And
hold on.
I was like, oh shit, that ain't Ezra.
People thought it was Starkler, but I'm glad they was wrong.
Is that really Filoni's fault? That's your fault for doing that.
No, I'm not blaming him.
No, I'm trying to chill. Chill, not you, Marcus.
I'm not that bothered. I'm actually more so on your team, Mike, where it's those theories making making people who got their expectations high. That's what you deserve.
Mhm.
I'm actually with you
But that's
there,
what
Mike.
makes it fun. That's what
Yeah,
makes
but when
it
you
fun.
when you
That's
start
when we
getting
were at our peak. Go ahead.
But no. But when you start getting like, yes, see, Mark, you can come away with it and be like, oh, okay, it wasn't him or whatever. But when you start actively going on a tirade and like, making outrage videos on YouTube and tweeting, oh my God, I can't believe Reed Richards wasn't the dude that Monica had in WandaVision. Like, dude, like seriously, then
that was actually supposed to be Blue Marvel. But anyways,
and it adds doubt when people play the voice of Maroc. And Maroc also sounded like Starkiller, and they use hints and stuff and it doesn't turn out to be the case, right? Even though Sam Witwer was thanked in the credits. And when it turns out to not be the case, that makes me go for the next theory. That makes me give more doubt towards it. Marcus?
I just don't like when they purposefully throw us off the trail, like WandaVision.
Yeah.
Like I liked WandaVision, and I liked doing the theories and trying to come up with what was going to happen next. It was like literally the only exciting moment for me out of Phase 4.
But would you want to sit there and know everything that was going to, you know what?
I
read
wouldn't,
the comments.
but I also don't want to be misled. I also don't want to have red herrings just to throw me off the scent.
Which Maroc didn't do. Maroc made us fans go, oh, he wears the masks. And for 14 days, there was Maroc speculation. And
that was you guys' fault, though.
Some of the reveals for WandaVision, the Evan Peters thing, the mailman mysteriously keep popping up, and he's not anything, like he's not material to the story at all. It was like they were trying to give us little trails to follow to throw us off of what it ended up being, and it was a little underwhelming at the end.
Yeah, but you see, that's the
Evan Peters
problem,
thing was
though.
hilarious.
But that's
Ralph
the problem,
Boner?
though. Everybody was putting their own speculations and running with it. I was with a dude backstage, and he would be like, as soon as he waked up, he'd be just like, "Yo, I found this in WandaVision, and this is what's gonna happen, and this and this." And it was like,
you see that level of excitement and enthusiasm over your product. That's what you want. You want to have people doing that. You don't want to discourage that, because that is walking,
Marcus,
breathing marketing.
You wake up and you think something. Anzo wakes up and he thinks something. Chill wakes up. One of you guys are going to be wrong, or both of you guys, or maybe all three of you guys. Like, and then you're going to have three disappointed people. Like, you can't, like.
I don't know, man. The MCU was based off of this stuff, of us trying to figure out what the next step was.
But it never got to the point.
Height, that's what all of these channels would have been.
Well, Marcus, we were like,
theorizing about
we were like, we will wobbin', like they would knock us down and we would get back up. We wouldn't take it like so personally. Like, they've offended me by not introducing Blue Marvel. They offended me by not having Mephisto.
They also weren't so heavy-handed as they were. I'm not saying this is like an industry thing, right? But there are certain instances where they try to lead you in a direction just to say, aha, you thought we were going that way. And you do that a couple of times and it's like, oh, okay, they got us. If it becomes like a pattern, though, it's like, just either do it or don't do it. But don't give me the
you know who did that the best? Superman and Lois. That show did that the best. That show started off season 2, and you had people thinking that it was going to be
season 1 on.
Well, season 1, yeah, Luthor. Because everybody thought Luthor, the black dude, was going to be Luthor. It's like, oh, they made Lex Luthor black. Oh, this and that, and then it ended up being John Henry. Then I think it was season 2. They ended up starting with this the original way Doomsday came to Earth, and everybody was like, "Oh, they're bringing in Doomsday," and then it ended up being Bizarro. So they had people speculating, and they switched it up, and they still did it in a good way.
Marvel used to do. They used to do films. Now they do episodes, and they haven't grasped how to do episodes with the weights in between.
I agree.
If Ezra's serving Thrawn, it would lend credence to the Grand Inquisitor's pronouncement that Ezra would eventually be consumed by the dark side. Hey, man, if we remember, not to spoil it, Marcus, but there's going to be a moment where Ezra does something, and he has a line like, Kanan didn't teach me that. And you're going to go, ooh, there's a little bit of dark sideness. So that's coming eventually.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what season, but there's like a cool scene, and it makes me think about how Ezra never really was liked. He didn't have academy training, so him turning to the dark is it's a possibility, of course.
The hella emotional attachments.
I want the Yuuzhan Vong, but I think these new Grisk aliens are the replacements. Yuuzhan Vong, I don't know everything about them. They are different. They're from a different galaxy and they are a force to be reckoned with. Just like the Chist, not the Gist. The Chist is Thrawn's people. Just like the Qatar. Yeah. Sorry, Rakatan Empire, just like them. Chillmonger, I hope your family are okay after the earthquake in Morocco. Chill, you're in Canada, right? But your family's from Morocco. So when I see guys I've never seen before, like regularly, I go, what the fuck? And then plus, when you think about how regularly, and there's Jarence also, who was trolling me earlier, right? So I never recognized Jarence today in this video, but like in the one I did like 6 hours ago, he was doing like a lot of to child kind of, live chats and being antagonizing. And look, even now he's calling me a hater for not She-Hulk, for not mentioning She-Hulk. So I ignored him. So I think like Jarence left and came back with a new name to be like this. And it's always like the same guys who do weird messages like that. Is Chillmonger a Moroccan or of Morocco descent or any? I don't know. Chillmonger doesn't speak about Chillmonger. So
yeah, I was about to say, if he has that information, he went and dug it up somewhere, because I've literally never heard you talk about.
That's none of your business.
I've literally never heard you talk about any of that.
So
I'm about to close out on. So
I just want to say something real quick, because it's on what Mike said when we're talking about the expectations, right? So a lot of people in this episode were like, "Oh, Darth Vader, Anakin, she lost again," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, people, do you understand that wasn't the real Anakin that was in there? You know what I mean? And I think they maybe should have explained that a little bit more. But I mean, I guess if you watch the Clone Wars or Rebels, you understand the world between worlds. And there were people that were actually in there that were controlling it and so stuff like that. I can't really remember all the details, but yeah, I think they should have explained that a little bit more.
Understand is a strong word. We don't understand the world between worlds. We're familiar with it though.
They've made, because I don't remember the episodes, because for me, like I said, I do not like the world between worlds. I never liked it from the Clone Wars, so I never really paid much attention to it. But there is an explanation for it. I think Ezra gets an explanation of how it is and what he's there to do and stuff like that. So,
word. Hey, this has been Chillmonger talking about Ahsoka Tano. We've got Mike from Rogue Comics representing. Shop Rogue Comics in beautiful Bridgeport, Connecticut. We got SSJ, K. Sanctum. We just call him K. He's got a sanctum, but it's really just like a little bunk bed in the back. His mic is muted, so I don't think he's going to join right now for his final thing, but check him out. Marcus's channel is called Back of the Bus, where you got the W's and the L's. I'm looking forward to Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care about your little football stuff, but you separated the channels, right? Now you do House
Divided.
We
do have a college football channel that we launched about a week ago. It's House Divided. So if you're in the college sports, college football, Big Ten, SEC, all conferences, really, check us out.
Not NFL though.
You know what? We may get back into some NFL content. I left the NFL a while ago, but I may be getting back into it because my Bengals are pretty good nowadays. So
what? Did you see the last 2 weeks? What are you talking about here?
Maybe I'm not paying attention enough.
Yeah,
we got Joe Burrow, right? We was just in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow didn't do nothing in the past 2 weeks, and they lost both games. But yeah,
well, hey, head over to Biggerford Entertainment for Bengals highlights. Everything Joe Burrow.
I'm a Steelers fan, so that's why I don't like your Bengals.
Oh yeah, that's why you over here talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of here.
We'll talk about this later.
Yeah, sorry, Chill. As Chill said, Biggerford Entertainment, you know where to find me on my channel. We do OOC, Chaos Central stuff. We will be back in the beginning of September doing Danny's show, which is Chaotic Conversation. Then the Monday after that will be mine, which will be the Chaos List. And then the Monday after that will be Chris shows, which will be the Rule of Three. Check me out on the OOC this Wednesday because we're going to have a good show. We're doing our top 10 rappers, male and female, so that's going to be very interesting.
Hey, I will be very interested in the female list. I want to see if we can get to 10.
Actually, I got my list. I got to 10.
Okay, bet. I'll be watching. I'll be watching.
I got to 10. Respect.
We'll leave you with this clip here. Imagine replacing Bruce Wayne with a Damian or Clark with a John. Reed with Franklin.
You see, this is what you guys are saying. You're saying Damian, Bruce with Damian. They don't have the same name, right? T'Challa has the same name. They have the same